You wondering what a flight response is and why you need it? Well, let me tell you about a story when I threw a water balloon at a car as a little boy and my flight response failed me. We have all heard of fight, flight, or freeze when it comes to fear responses, but what is the reason for these responses and how does it show up in your body? Particularly, how does flight show up in your body? Once we're aware of the purpose of a particular emotion, we can listen to what it tells us and find the wisdom and a path forward instead of having our body respond reactively to this state without choosing. There are many things that you can do in a fight or flight situation that will serve you. Some won't. Fight is only a good response that can help you quickly when you're in dangerous situations. Fortunately, most of us don't have to face problems that require this fear to engage it that often. But sometimes we do. So when it happens, you want to use it correctly. But most importantly, when you don't need it turned on, you want to turn it off. So how do you do that? Flight is that feeling of anxiousness that we get that fills us and makes it hard to stay in the room. You feel antsy, you shake, you don't want to maintain eye contact, you're pacing, you are trembling, you might feel flushed with fear. That is a sure signal that you are in the fight mode. And that means, do I need to take a look at what this is doing to me and dig in and allow it to get me out of here? Or do I need to address this problem and change it so it doesn't? So, you got to take the time to recognize where this fear has helped you in the past so you can see if it's going to help you now. And recognize where this fear has failed you in the past so that you can transition out of it if you need to right now. So I'm going to tell you two situations. Both of these happened to be when I was a little boy. I loved to throw things at cars. I loved to be chased. I love the feeling of flight, that fear that encompassed me. It actually was kind of exciting. And it all stemmed from this first experience. When I was 3 years old, I came outside. My brothers were 6 and 7 years older than me, so 9 and 10 years old with their friends. They had those little handheld balloons that you fill up for water balloon fights in the house. They bought a bunch of those, and they're at the hose filling up a whole big carton of water balloons. I'm thinking, water balloon fight, I want to help, I want to do this, and they're trying to get rid of me. No, you can't do this, what we're doing. Somehow, through all my pleading, I finally convince my older brothers to let me in on the secret. They're about to go and throw water balloons at cars. That sounded fascinating to me. I begged them to let me come, and they said they would give me one balloon, and that I could throw it at the first car, but then I had to leave. So, I was a deal. I was excited. But I only had one shot. I went and I stood. We went to the end of our alley. We had an alley behind our house. It was just like one big house down. Our neighbors lived right on the corner of this main street. My little town, the main street meant a car came along probably every 1 to 2 minutes at the most. So this was the main street we were going to throw, and this alley had trees growing over it. It was nicely sheltered, and you could stand basically on the sidewalk without being seen by a car coming along the pathway. So I stood there waiting for a car to come, and my brothers were listening for me, and they said, okay, we'll tell you when to throw. So you get ready. Here comes a car, and you could hear the rev of this engine. And I'm standing on the road waiting, and I remember the size of this balloon. I mean, if I held it now, it'd be a tiny little balloon. But I remember thinking it was this big, heavy, kind of like a shot put. And my brothers were like, throw! I didn't even see, the truck was nowhere in sight. And they told me to throw, so I did. I obeyed. And as I threw it, and the balloon is arcing up over in the air, I feel my heart drop. There's no car. My one chance to throw, I didn't hit a car. I don't get to see what the experience is like. They're going to send me home without seeing it. And the car emerges, it's flying, and the balloon crashes right onto the windshield over the car. Perfect hit. And I'm so excited until the guy crams on the brakes. The truck squeals to a stop, and out of it climbs a man who is clearly mad. And I turn to run, and the alley behind me is empty. None of my brothers are there. None of their friends are there. They're gone. I am alone in this alley. And that terror of facing this angry man who is now walking toward me is overwhelming. And I run. And I run in a beeline straight home. And this man, I'll never forget, as I'm sprinting as hard as I can home, trying to lose him so he doesn't know where I'm going, is just walking at a fast clip behind me. I couldn't understand that I couldn't shake this guy. It was astonishing to me. And I get to the door. I ran around to the front door to try to shake him by going to the front of the house. Clearly not thinking well. I'm in full-on flight mode. Get away, get away. And I'm pounding on the door, screaming, let me in. And just as the man is about to grab me, the door opens a crack and I scurry through, and I am hiding behind my babysitter. I fortunately had a babysitter that day. My parents weren't there. And she is standing between me and this man that is about to grab me. I don't know what the man was going to do. Probably nothing. I was a 3-year-old. He's probably just going to take me to my parents like he'd just done. And he tells the babysitter what I'd done, and I'm embarrassed and terrified, and that moves on. And I realized after that process how poorly flight had failed me. I had run from this guy right into the arms of my babysitter at home and led him to the very person I didn't want to know that I had just thrown something at a car. Because in my moment of fight or flight, I had not been thinking about anything but get away, get away, get away. I didn't think of the repercussions of what was going to happen when I arrived there and discovered that now everyone knew that I'd been throwing stuff at cars. Anyway, I got in trouble, which is as it should be. And it instilled within me a deep desire to hit a car again. The excitement that I had felt when I first hit that car was overwhelming, and I began to do this. And I'll never forget another time where flight completely messed me up. I was not able to transition into a different state so that I could adapt to the situation I was in, and it got me in trouble. And I used to love to get chased, so I would actually stand right on the side of the road, and I was throwing a rock at a car. I was 6 years old, maybe 5 or 6 years old, coming home from school with my best friend at the time, and we were standing there together. He was 2 years older than me, faster and stronger in every way. And we threw our rocks and nailed this car, and it stops, of course. And the guy climbing out of it, another fit, strong man. This is a problem when those guys get out, because you know they're coming after you. And I took off through these houses, and my friend took off. We always would go off in different directions. And I came running up to a fence that had a gate in it. It was on another level, and I was going to cut through the backyard of this person's house through this gate and keep going. And I went to open the gate, and it wouldn't open. So I pulled harder, and I just sat there pulling, because I'm just like trying to run, but I can't get going, and I'm just thinking, open the gate, open the gate. And next thing I know, my body's lifted in the air, and I'm turned around, and there I am face to face with this man that I just threw a rock at his car. And I'm caught, and I'm in trouble, and I get taken home. And in the moment when he lifted me off the ground and looked me in the eye, and I knew I was caught and I had been stuck pulling on this fence trying to open the gate, I recognized that I was not pulling on a gate. I was pulling on a patch in the fence. And I was big enough and agile enough, I could have hopped that fence easily and kept running. But in a space of flight and fear, where my mind, my prefrontal cortex had shut down and I was just motoring, I had not changed my progress to deal with the nuance of that situation. I had not adapted, and that is what allowed me to be caught. And in that moment, I swore I would never allow myself to be caught like this again. I would be aware of that state of fear and how narrowing it made my focus so that I would not be caught like that. Of course, I did get caught like that again. Fear can hit you. But I recognized in that moment what it did to me, and I remembered from the time I was 3 what it had done to me. And I decided to try to figure out how to expand my mind in those moments so I wouldn't get caught. This is the nature of flight. It lets you run, it lets you go, it lets you just chase things down so that you can get the hell out of whatever it is that's scaring you. And it can serve you. in those situations that you need to be served. But there is a moment when that running, that flight, that transition needs to end. And in that moment, if you can recognize you no longer need it, then you transition out of it by moving your body into a new space because you recognize, I don't need this anymore. I can let it go. And as you shed it and let it go, you can transition. And that's how you move out of flight. That's how you use flight. This is how I do it. I'm James. Thanks for joining me.